You won't leave a narcissist just like that. It's not like you think, normally they're very charming. That's the problem. Mine looked like Ricky Martin, so I was, flabbergasted about just the way he looked. But then there was a moment when I always saw him in certain poses or anything or something where I thought, he's not even, that dream that I had at the beginning. I had these little moments of, that's not my dream charming that I was always thinking, but they have a really good way of pulling you into a story or into their way of being that you are so occupied with it that you don't reflect on things. So the first thing you really have to do and have is patience with a narcissist and with yourself. That doesn't mean that you leave a narcissist just by like that. Only if he has his rage. And that's the most dangerous part of it, because you never think that that person will ever do something so ridiculous as they do, because you know that that will be a consequence to it. The thing is, they often do things and you set up boundaries that only he is allowed to cross. So only that narcissist is allowed to do with you what he wants, like a puppet. You're like a puppet in his hands. So you have to have the patience for yourself to become the person you want to be. The thing is, if I wouldn't have left him, I would have never found out my self-value. Never. So I had to patiently, I was so stupid in that moment, but it happens. You wait patiently that all the things that you want will change for your benefit and for the way you want it. Nothing changes in that relationship. I can bet that nothing will change to the better. It will all go down the drain. You will always have these peak moments, and then you will have this this can't be my partner peak moment, and this can't be my partner. And as soon as you have this can't be my partner kind of feeling, that is when you should leave. Or you wait till the narcissist has the most rage, like mine had. The moment he started these things, he did it first with other people where I thought, okay, he's not doing it with me. But it was, when you start to be ashamed of his behavior in little things, maybe towards your family or towards other people. I had this moment of I was ashamed how he treated other people. Even though he was this Prince Charming in his own workplace, which they normally are, they are like immaculate at their work. There will never be anything that you would ever have to think about with a narcissist at work, at his workplace. When I came into his workplace, he was like this Prince of Charming armor standing there and pleasing everyone. Until that moment that when I came in, he didn't know how to please me anymore. Like his face even dropped. So I patiently watched every single sign and still didn't leave. I patiently even gave myself a whole year. And I thought in that year, because we had so many journeys planned, that this connection would come back. But I had no idea that I was with a narcissist. So I was thinking I'm in a normal relationship, the ones that I had before him, and we will figure this out. The thing is, you have to detect that it is a narcissist. Go through those signs, what a narcissist is. Go to a YouTube video, I will make one too. What are the signs of a narcissist? I had no idea that I'm with one until the moment he said to me that he is superior to everyone else. But then I already had my bags packed when he said that. It's detecting that they are narcissists, detecting that they are manipulating, detecting that everything is on purpose, detecting that they are just instinctive beings. They're not like us. They don't have consequence thinking. So if you've already been through crazy behavior with them, crazy behavior isn't love. Crazy behavior, you can believe me, is an evidence that that person has no reflection on himself and no reflection on if this is good for yourself or not. And there were moments also at the end, that's why I say patience is so important, where I could detect in him, as soon as the crowd left the room, either when we were sitting at his family's place or at work or wherever, I could see that his face dropped. Like, I can tell you that from morning till evening, I'm the same person. I try to be authentic. I try to tell everyone, and when there is something to laugh, I laugh. And I could detect that there was like two masks. And then I thought, if he's doing that with all those people, he has the same. I often watched or heard before he came to our house. I could hear the first front door opening, and then until he came to our door, the time that he took to get to that door was just ridiculous. Either he was checking his phone outside, which I don't know, or he had to really step up his game before he could get into the door. So to have this maybe fake smile on, it's just so many little things. It's ridiculous. Everything that's ridiculous isn't even worth the time. It's not worth the time. And being patient with yourself, the ones who are doing narcissistic videos out here, we are here and hoping that you are already out of that relationship. The ones, probably 90% of you, are still in that relationship and are just acknowledging through the videos that is happening out there, that we have been through this. If I could go back in time, I normally don't say that, and I don't regret things because everything has its reasons. So you can wait for that narcissistic outrage to really break out, and then you can decide. And then a lot of people, even 90% of the people, stay in that relationship, which isn't good. It's better to be alone on a couch, hugging yourself, hugging your pillow, and being single or a nun, than being with someone who just deprives you of your self-value and who you are, and just like in a Hollywood movie, fakes that you are very important for them. There was not one day where he said, I am not the most important person in his life, and I wasn't. It's just like you are together like in a soap opera. He has a role. There is a role that he is playing, and he has these fake future goals, and he thinks that through a hike or a beautiful journey, he's offering me the world. I can offer myself the world. My solitude is so precious that anyone who comes into that solitude of me being a nun has to have high qualities, not low qualities. Every single day he would say to me, I'm so glad that you're my girlfriend. Like, I didn't even know how to answer or say anything to that, if I remember, every single day. And I thought, that's awkward to say that you are so thankful to have someone. I mean, two paths meet and you just uplift the other one with being yourself and just being there and cooking and smiling and sitting in the sun and doing normal things. He couldn't. You can't believe 5 to 6 months we didn't know what the other one was eating. We were working seasonal jobs. And suddenly we went on holiday and suddenly the world was exciting again for him. 5 to 6 months we came back and either he took off to other journeys. And all of that was not alarming for me. I was like a little duck waiting to be slaughtered. I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there watching this, sitting there. I mean, that's the only thing I'm ashamed of, that I think, why didn't I reflect on all of that? He just got up, took a bag, and left for journeys where for days I didn't hear from him. He didn't say anything. You can't believe once he even left for a journey and hurt himself. He went to a hospital. I wasn't even in that country. And he didn't have the nerves or the decency to call me and say, you know what, I just hurt myself really bad, just that you know. Not even that. He knew where I was, so he hurt himself. He sits in a car, goes 1,000 kilometers, no, I don't know, I think it was 1,000 kilometers, because he had 3 days after that, he hurt himself. He had 3 days in between before we met. So what does he do? With a wound in his head, he drives 1,000 kilometers down to the Mediterranean and tells me he wants sun, which I believe he only got for a few hours, and has to drive not only those 1,000 kilometers back, but we had a point where we wanted to meet. So you can imagine what kind of person I got when he met me. I heard about the wound. I heard about that he went to the Mediterranean without me. And I must say and even then, I don't know what kind of non-alarm clock went on in my mind. It's just, we let, as codependency people, we let them do so much with us that there has to be the most utmost rage point that you really leave. I am really here to tell you, leave now. Who cares about the consequences? And you have no idea what's going to come your way in a good way. Your brain can only tell you what you're going to lose. That's what it can rationally emphasize on. Like, you're going to lose this, you're going to lose your work, you're going to lose him, you're going to lose... That's what was with me. I left my job and my relationship in 1 week. It was the utmost shock that I've ever done to myself. I was shocking myself like as if I was going to the dentist every hour. It was like, I've never done something like this so outrageous for myself. But afterwards, right now, sitting on this couch and having all these journeys behind me without him, I can only say, do it. Be so patient that you start reflecting on every single thing they are doing. Every single thing. Like, there is so much bullshit going on. I mean, he was so vain that at the beginning of our relationship, he would go to a hairdresser that was 100 kilometers away from him. Because he said that woman just gets his hair. Yeah, they have a relationship with his hair. Amazing. The patience we go through, which I went through all these last years, just show me how strong I can be, because the way I cried when I had to leave him just showed me that I was building up a strength over the years that I didn't even grasp for myself. It was really interesting to watch for myself that on the one hand I was totally ashamed, and on the other hand I'm totally proud that that I could even deal with it, because also they I don't know if it's a thing for them, but they talk and 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 talk. They need companionship. That's where your patience come in. If you see that someone is really focused on, or giving you the feeling that it's always about you, oh, red flag, total red flag. You really have to build up patience in just reflect on, just write down how many things have hurt you in that relationship. I did that much too late, and after the relationship. I sat down, because that's one part of the work.com from Katie Byron, which I also do with clients, if you are interested, because it's just interesting to get your own happiness recipe. And one part of this work one day was, I had to listen to myself. I had to understand myself. So I had to write down all the situations that had occurred between us, and just look at myself and think, whoa, where were you all the time? Like, really, me, I must have not been home. Because I had a goal of, not leaving the relationship, staying in a place I didn't like, switching jobs so that we can make our goals work. I was quite busy, a 50-hour week sometimes. The moment we could have had time, he left. There were so many things. I mean, when do you wake up? When does your alarm clock go on? When did mine go on? When he really outraged me that there was no turning point? Are we really just waiting for this moment? Or are we waiting for well, I want to have a nice summer. We have May now. Just think of your summer with that person right now. How will it be? And if I was now really honest with myself, the person he created at the beginning of the relationship, the person he created never came to fulfillment. Like suddenly that person was gone. It was like after half a year, that person was gone. And what hooked me onto it was, I thought, because he gave me glimpses of that person always. When he had strength and energy, he could give me those glimpses of that person. We went to the most beautiful place together, which we love in Italy. We always just did it for 2 or 3 days, and we stayed really, really long and had long journeys back to get back and forth there. That was our thing. And that's when I think I woke up. Because he went into the ocean and just swam. He's a good swimmer. He just swam. He went for 2 hours swimming. He even went to another place, I think. And I was just watching him, how he was going to the horizon. And I thought, he doesn't care. And it also dawned on me that what the narcissist wants is you to always communicate. Like they have something, they blabber, and you always communicate back, always communicate back. You are like, yeah, you are for them a team member, but you don't have a team member because you are totally alone in that. You have to know that you are totally alone and he doesn't have your back. Or she. They don't have your back. You have to know that. That's the moment I felt it. He went out into the ocean, which he always did, and it never bothered me, and he just swam and swam and swam. He came back, I went in, and I swam and swam and swam and swam. And I was lying on these sunbeds that they have on the Mediterranean. And I knew with all my patience, with all my love, with whatever I would do, if I would gift him the best hotel at that place, which I always wanted to do, if I would stay and stick with his goals, he would just drag me down. He would just drag me over the mountain and drag me down. And that moment, you have to make a decision for yourself. That's the moment where you decide, no matter how the world looks like without them, even if it looks frightening and fearful, it looked like as if a flame went on. It was living hell for me. Because I was so used to having him in my life. So that was a moment it dawned on me that the patience that I brought up and the discussions I had with him, that every single word, it just dawned on me. And then they don't have any might over you anymore, no power over you anymore, because they can see that your communication is changing. I was always reacting to his blabber. And there was a day where I said, just stop talking. Just stop it. And yeah, they see that you're powerless, and he already had his next supply. I mean, there was a woman who was bringing his car. He had a rental car once for weeks because his car broke down. And I get a phone call from him and a woman he was working with that are bringing the car back. So nothing was arranged with me. Nothing was talked through with me. And it was also a moment. There are so many moments. You don't have to go instantly. I mean, I find it dangerous to be with them because you never know what kind of rage they will go through. The rage he had scared me to death. If you want to wait for that, it's okay. But your patience, if you're even patient with waiting to leave, just reflect. Always re-reflect. Patience. Re-reflect. Re-reflect. Is he really making you happy? Is he making you happy in bed? Is he making you happy when you're eating? Is he making you happy through a normal day? Did he make you happy today? Did you make him happy? It's also a question. It's not like he has to make me happy. I couldn't make him happy anymore. Getting behind all the illusions of a narcissist means I wasn't able to take him seriously anymore and make him happy. Not even with food, with nothing. I could not make him happy anymore. And then I looked and I thought, there's only me who is in this play standing. So, Rami, doesn't matter how many weeks it will take. And now, after more than half a year now, I think 3/4 of a year, I can really stand there and say, I can make me happy in an instant. And he's not with me anymore. He's out of the system. And I self-retreated myself to Sardinia. 3 months of Sardinia, and yeah, amazing self-retreat, which I wish for everyone, and I will be also giving one day. I want women to stand up for themselves and live for themselves. And if you want a partner in that moment, you will see that a narcissist, you will smell a narcissist very quickly.